Hi everyone, Teddy Baldassarre with TeddyBaldassarre.com. In this video, we're looking at a watch from Laco with the Laco Pilot ULM. So in this video and on this channel, we cover watches available for purchase on our website, TeddyBaldassarre.com, as a full authorized dealer. So in this video, deep dive review of this timepiece, final points of consideration at the end. But throughout this video, if you have further questions, check out the link in the description where you can learn more, purchase the watch, and book a time with one of our dedicated watch specialists as well. But guys, let's jump into the video, take a closer look at this watch. Among the countless brands who offer a Flieger watch, few have the historical pedigree that Laco does when it comes to this style. And in terms of an authentic entry-level Flieger, between the Augsburg and the Aachen models, Laco offers some of the best options available in the tier. What these two pieces have in common though is the use of a Japanese manufactured Miyota movement, which not only are fine movements, but also allow these watches to be priced in a range that make them very attainable. Today though, we're going to be looking at kind of that next tier, one with the Laco ULM Pilot, a higher end offering which features a Swiss-made hand-wound ETA movement. It occupies a higher price range, yet still maintains a level of value that's hard to beat for a watch of this style. As we take a look at the ULM on the wrist, let's first go over the case dimensions. This piece measures at 42.5 millimeters across with a lug-to-lug distance of just under 50 millimeters at 49.8 millimeters and a case height of 10.7 millimeters, sharing nearly identical case measurements as the brand's entry-level 42 millimeter Augsburg model, a piece that I reviewed on the channel in the past. While the ULM's case is large, it shouldn't be overbearing for medium to larger size wrists. However, it might test the limits for some of those with smaller wrists, say under 16 centimeters, as the case does run flat across and kind of has a bit of that dinner plate type effect. There is a very good reason for the case size though, and that's so it can accommodate the large hand-winding ETA 6498 that powers the piece inside, which I think is one of the more compelling reasons to look in the direction of this watch. The case is almost entirely brush finished with a couple of thin, high-polished surfaces that are only visible from the profile view along the side of the fixed bezel and case back. These areas help break up the uniformity of the satin finish while elevating the overall look of the case. An oversized onion crown is located at the typical 3 o'clock position and operates in typical fashion. Hand winding can be handled at that first position, and at the farthest pulled out point, the only other point, you then can adjust the time while stopping the second hand in the process. Now the crown operation with that onion style as well as just the hand winding feedback that comes with winding this movement is sublime. It has a nice just audible sound to it as well as you rotate, and it's just a joy to rotate that onion style crown. Also working in this watch's advantage, even though it's not a screw down crown, it is going to offer up 100 meters of water resistance. The lugs run 22 millimeters wide, and Laco has supplied the ULM with a nice padded brown genuine leather strap that is soft to the touch on both the inside and outside and tapers down to a 20 millimeter pin buckle. With the thick padding on the top of the strap, it will take some time to allow this to break in, but once it does, it should conform really well to the wrist and provide a comfortable wearing experience. Transitioning back over to the front of the watch, where we have a flat sapphire crystal treated with anti-reflective coating protecting the black Flieger dial below. This interpretation of a Flieger dial features bold Arabic numerals for most of the hours set within a sizable minute track. There are two exceptions here at the 12 and 6. In classic Flieger form, the 12 o'clock marker is a luminous triangle with 2 dots flanking the sides to assist with orienting the watch, while the 6 has been replaced with the sub-second register. Large temper-blued steel hands contain large single-piece segments of superluminova to match the luminous paint used on the dial. The lume used by Laco is excellent and glows bright green, providing very good low-light visibility. As far as the dial text goes, the ULM is limited to the Laco logo under the 12 o'clock triangle and the Made in Germany text that is tucked between the sub-second register and the minute track. This keeps the dial concise and uncluttered, which is the intended purpose of a Flieger watch design. The sub-seconds is going to be a little bit off the beaten path in regards to traditional Flieger styling, but still I think in this case works really well. Now turning this watch over, we have view of a large exhibition case back through which we can find the hand-winding ETA 6498 inside. Now this is going to come from the Unitas family of movements and honestly is one of the best looking movements you were going to find in the price range. In terms of comparing it to something like the ETA 2824, the SW200, although being automatic watches, just delivers a completely different look and feel for a watch in this price category. Looking at classic Flieger watch designs, this movement is going to be more in alignment with the originals. One being that it is going to be a hand winding movement, which is going to create a lot of connection to this movement as you rotate that large oversized onion style crown. The other point here is just how the whole case back is going to be filled up by this movement. You kind of have that classic pocket watch style and look with the large bridges and just everything on display with the absence of a rotor. And given that there's not much room on the case's periphery for anything other than just minimal just text indicating specific details about the watch. The balance is nearly fully exposed, prominently displaying the traditional regulating pins, balance wheel, and even the pallet fork. The bridges are decorated with a Côte de Genève striping with distressed blue tempered screws, adding to an ultimately elevated look. This isn't going to be the finest finished movement in the world, but compare again to some of these other entry-level Swiss-made third-party calibers, it's not even close. This and the ETA 7001 are some of the most beautiful third-party movements that you're going to find. In terms of specs and features, the ETA 6498 is a slow beat caliber operating at 18,000 vibrations per hour or 2.5 hertz with a power reserve of 53 hours approximately. Of course, as it is a hand-wound movement, you will have to wind the crown every 2 days in order to add potential energy to that mainspring to keep this watch from stopping. One feature that is present in this movement is a hacking second when the crown is pulled out, so really nice to see here. And in terms of accuracy with this particular example, just some anecdotal evidence, this one was running just 4 seconds off from perfect time of day when testing at a variety of positions. So really good performance out of this, and you're getting a nice regulated movement on top of looking great. All right, so now to unpack looking at this Laco Pilot ULM. Now, when looking at Laco, would this be the first choice that I would look at if you're just trying to get into the world of Flieger watches for the first time? I would not say so. I'd look at probably some of their entry-level options or something like the Heidelberg or some of their other variations that are going to be more true to the Flieger DNA. This watch does resemble a lot of that DNA, but it does have some interesting quirks with the sub-seconds that kind of deviates from the traditional type of layout. But in terms of what this watch represents is a Flieger watch style at a larger case size with some interesting modern types of approaches and executions with a movement that is going to absolutely look the part for this price range. I think that is the number one thing going for this watch. You flip this movement around, you have somebody that's maybe not into the world of mechanical watches for the first time to spend $1,000 and get a movement that looks this good. I think this is probably some of the best finishing that you're going to find on a movement in the price range. It is a traditional third-party movement. There's just some little modifications in terms of the design, just the Laco logo, but apart from that, you're getting a pretty bare bones movement. But even with that, it still is going to look the part. So simply put, when looking at this watch, this is just a solid everyday option for people with larger wrists that want something that has a little bit more fun to it compared to the traditional Type A and Type B style watches from Laco. All right, guys, well, thank you again so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. That really does help out the channel. Also, if you're in the market for this watch and you like what you saw here today, definitely check it out. It's available on TeddyBaldassarre.com. Full authorized dealer of all the brands that we carry, quick and fast fulfillment, dedicated customer support. We also offer price match. So if you see one of our products for cheaper at another authorized dealer, fill out the form and we'll get in touch with you. Also, all of our products come with a full factory warranty, so you're completely covered if something goes wrong. You don't have that cost on your head. And finally, 9 out of every $10 that we generate goes right back into the content we're creating here, as well as on our main channel, helping to foster up a new generation of watch enthusiasts in the process. But guys, thank you again so much for watching. Be well, and I will see you all very soon.